Welcome to Bet on It. NFL is finally here. I hope I'm really excited for it. We're going to see how this week goes. These numbers have been moving like crazy for months, and we're just going to get right to it. I'm Kelly Stewart, joined by Marco D'Angelo, Joe Raineri. If you guys missed our college football show, it is already up on our YouTube channel. Speaking of our YouTube channel, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, hit that little bell so you never miss another show. Thursday Night Football, perfect teaser situation, and that is where I'm going. Buffalo minus 2.5 at the LA Rams, total 52.5. I want no part of this game. I'll be really honest with you guys. We got the Super Bowl winners. We got the team that is now favored to win the Super Bowl. I believe they're still currently 6-1. And this just looks like such an easy move, Marco. I'm just going to put the LA Rams in a couple of open teasers, as well as some other teams like the Vikings, the Browns, and the Cowboys. And I'm just going to sit back and relax and hope that LA can keep it within a touchdown.
Can't disagree with you, Kelly. That's the way I'm looking at this game. I really don't understand the line, Kelly. You look at this and, yeah, Buffalo is my choice to come out of the AFC and go to the Super Bowl, but this is still the Super Bowl champs. This is their home opener. Now, I know in years past, there's been no home field advantage for the Rams or the Chargers. But I got to think that after winning the Super Bowl last year, it's going to be a little different for the Rams. It's still not going to be all Rams fans, but I think you're going to see more Rams fans in the stands than you saw last year. And I think the Vegas books, looking at this game, making Buffalo a 2.5-point road favorite, I think you're still looking at the old home field rankings for this. And I think it's just too high. I had this game closer to a pick 'em, and you give me the Rams and I can add 6 points onto it. Yeah, that's the way I'm going to go. I don't see them getting beat by more than a touchdown in this game if they do. And I'll have the Rams going to a lot of teasers on Sunday and possibly even the Monday night game, setting myself up with, a couple open teasers where I can take Denver down now and save that for coming in on Monday whenever the public bets that game and maybe gets it to the full 7. We would have a nice middle if we want to come back. But for me, I do lean to the Rams in the game. I love the Rams on the teaser. And total-wise, I would have to lean to the over in this game because I think you're going to see a lot of points, as a lot of people thought maybe this should have been the Super Bowl matchup last year.
Yeah, probably should have been. Let's not revisit that loss in Kansas City. I've already had enough grief from week 1 of college football. Joe Raineri, our good friend Las Vegas Chris, said that if the Rams get to 3, that's where he's going to be. And I can't disagree, but I've got the WagerTalk odds screen open. Lots of 2s still available, even some 2.5s. Now, that could change in the next 24 hours between kickoff. But what are your thoughts on Thursday Night Football?
So, kind of with Marco, I was a little shocked, and I guess maybe we shouldn't be, that the Bills would be public darlings here and the money would continue to come rolling in on them to start the season. I mean, McVay, 5-0 as the Rams head coach in week 1 matchups. Listen, I'm concerned. I'm concerned from the Rams' perspective of, and I know some people say it doesn't really mean anything, but there's been so many questions around Stafford, that elbow. He didn't even sniff the field during the preseason. There are still some question marks on that offensive line. I think we're going to get a rusty Rams early in this game, offensively wise. I think both defenses are going to be the best units on the field to start the games. I do think that if they can get, and we know this with Josh Allen, his biggest weakness is get him off his mark. Make him have to run. If you can blitz him from the outside, make him have to tuck it and move, that's your best shot where he's not sitting there picking you apart downfield. So the way I'm looking at this, Cal, and this number has come down over the last couple of weeks as well, as high as 26.5, 27 in the first half total. I think it's down to about 25.5, somewhere in there, 25, and I think the under in the first half is the way to go. We've seen this a couple of years ago with these two teams. It was a under game, and it was an under first half, and I think it's going to be the same way. I think the scoring is all going to happen with the adjustments in the second half. I think the Rams are going to start a little bit slow offensively. I think that defense for the Bills is going to be ready to roll, as is Aaron Donald and the Rams D. So I don't anticipate a ton of scoring early in this game. I'm going under in the first half.
Joe, always coming in with the first half plays. If you're new here, that's what we love, throwing out some different angles. Sunday night, another primetime game and another teaser for me. Tampa Bay -1.5 at the Dallas Cowboys, total 50. Joe, I just want no part of either of these primetime games, but it's a primetime game, and you want to sit on your couch and you want to have something to enjoy. So I threw Dallas in a bunch of different teasers. This is, like I said, a really tough week for me. There's nothing that I love outside of one game, and it just screams teaser, teaser, teaser. So I'm like, why overthink it?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Kyle, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it fits every one of the boxes, right, for your traditional Wong teaser, right? I got a home dog with the Cowboys. I'm passing through 3. I'm passing through 7. Yeah, you know, I mean, it's an impossible choice. I hate it because it's, do I go with Crypt Keeper 1 and Jerry Jones, or do I go with Crypt Keeper 2 and Mr.
I promised myself I wasn't going to say this, but because you brought it up, it's past Tom Brady's bedtime. I should be all over the Cowboys. The Cowboys should be my best bet this week, and I just can't do it. I can't. But a Cowboys teaser, Cowboys not get blown out on Sunday night. I just don't see it.
Not at all. I don't see it either. We know the Cowboys. Nobody beats the Cowboys like the Cowboys at some point in the season, but it usually happens after the first month and a half or so of the season. Then that's where they really start to self-implode. But it's a great spot. You know the public's going to love themselves some Cowboys too. So I do think it's interesting here to start the season off with the Cowboys as a dog at home for a team that's got what? Their win total was 10 and a half, and they're a dog against Tom Brady. Never trust a guy who's never eaten a strawberry. I'll just say that right now. I'm with you, Kel. There's only one way to play this, and that would be as part of a leg of any teaser situations that you guys are looking at here. And I also happen to think we're going to get some points, too. In this matchup here. So I lean towards the over, but the teaser is the only play for me in this opening Monday night game.
Marco, this one's actually headed, there's some 2s out there, 2.5s and even 2s, 2.5 -115s. Excuse me. Do you think this is going to get to 3? So if you like the Cowboys, you should wait, or if you like the Bucs, you should bet them now.
Yeah, it's not going to get to 3, because even if it does get to 3, all the sharps are going to have all their Autobots ready to grab those 3s, and you won't get a sniff of them. I'll tell you what I did learn this offseason with Tampa Bay and Tom Brady. We have thought that he's not human. I mean, the guy's 45 years old. He's still playing football at a high level. He can't be human. Well, he is. And how do I know? Well, because he's got a wife just like everybody else of us. She's bitching at him, telling him what to do, doesn't like his decision of unretiring. Yeah, welcome to being in the human race, Tom Brady. You're not robot or alien after all, although the face work kind of does make you look like an alien. But what can I say? For me in this game, I'm going to look at the total. And everybody's going to go back to last year's game. This was the opener on Thursday Night Football last season because Tampa Bay was the reigning Super Bowl champs, and they got to play at home, and they had the Cowboys come to town. If you remember, that was the first game for Dak after that horrific leg injury he suffered the year before, and nobody knew what to expect of the Cowboys. Well, they went up and down the field. It was a great game. It was a fun game to watch. 31-29 was the final score. 60 points in that game. The total last year was 52. Why is this total at 50.5? You know, the public is going to want the over. Nobody's going to bet a game with Tom Brady and want the under. And on the same token, with the Cowboys defense, they're not going to want to bet an under. I am. If you go back and look at the game last year, there was 108 passes thrown between the two quarterbacks. There was only 32 rush attempts between the two teams last year. I think you're going to see a different split this year. Why? Because Dallas doesn't want to get in a shootout. And secondly, I think Dak's going to have some problems early on. Remember, Amari Cooper is no longer a Dallas Cowboy, and he opened the field up for Dak. It made everything work because you had to double team Cooper, and when he took that double team downfield, that either gave you a good running lane with Zeke or Dak if he decided to tuck it and run, or it opened up the middle for the other receivers. And that other receiver, Michael Gallup's hurt, and you got CD Lamb. But CD Lamb is going to be double teamed this year, at least early on, though Gallup is 100%. I don't see Dak having the success offensively that he had last year in the first few games. So for me, I'm going under the total of 50.5, but I'm going to tell you this. Don't play it now. Wait till Sunday because you're going to get the best number shortly before kickoff when the dust settles from the afternoon and everybody's looking to get out on the Sunday night game. They're not going to look to get out on an under. They're going to be betting an over, and we'll get our best line within 90 minutes of the game kicking off.
Always great little tidbits there from Marco D'Angelo. If you guys aren't following these guys on Twitter, you are missing out. At Marco in Vegas, at Joe Raineri. We are going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, it's time to see the guy with the pin.
Have you ever wanted to create your own handicapping dream team? You can build your own superstar handicapping lineup using our Pick Your Team program at both WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com. Even more exciting, until Monday, September 12th at midnight, you can save 10% off Pick Your Team using coupon code PYT10 when checking out. Dave Koken, Marco D'Angelo, and Ralph Michaels, JM Sports, Joseph D'Amico, and the Rocket Man. The combinations are endless as you can choose up to 5 handicappers. You start saving once you choose any 2 handicappers of your choice, and you can pay as little as under $6 per handicapper. Who will make up your dream lineup? Go to WagerTalk or Sports Memo, click Pick Your Team, and personally hand-select your handicapping roster. Don't forget that coupon code PYT will expire on September 12th, so get your 10% discount and put together your personalized dream team today.
Welcome back to Bet On It. If you've been watching for a while, you know exactly what time it is. That's right, it's time for some TNA, those trends and angles with Mr. Ralph Michaels. Welcome in, Ralph. Always a pleasure to see you. You've got the beautiful Stat Daddy pin you gave out at the WagerTalk meet and greet. If you guys didn't get one, throw Ralph a DM on Twitter. I think he's going to give out some throughout this football season. And you know what else he's going to give out? Lots of trends for this NFL season, starting with some divisional rivalries. We've got quite a few of them this week. Ralph, what have you dug up for us?
Well, Cal, since this is week number 1 of the NFL, I just want to jump out to all the new callers. We're going to have some wild trend and angles, 70, 80% situations that you may say, I'm going to bet a game because of this trend or angle. You should never do that. Maybe you make a game stronger. Maybe it was on the fence and you now make it a play. Maybe you like the play and perhaps it's a best bet. Maybe you like the other side and you may not play the game. But don't just base a play simply on one trend or angle. It should just be part of situational, technical, statistical handicapping, putting it all together. With that said, I'm going to start with one that's really not a secret, but if you don't follow NFL week number 1, you may not know it. Division home dogs, Kelly. Simply, division home dogs in week number 1 have gone 19-5-1, 79.2% against the spread. That's Atlanta against New Orleans, Houston against Indy, Minnesota against Green Bay. But I know this is going to interest you, and to give VR a little love, more impressive than a 79% ATS angle is, these home dogs have gone 15-9-1, 62.5% straight up. So when you can get NFL dogs hitting straight up at a 62.5% clip, you know what to do. Sprinkle some on the money line. Now, this is one that I just found for this show, and I'm surprised I had not looked this up before, but it was an eye-opener for me, Kelly. NFL game number 1. You know players are thinking about it in spring camps. You know players are thinking about it in August camps. You know they're thinking about it in preseason during the preseason games. When you have a game number 1 NFL division team that has double revenge from the previous year, they have gone 44 and 22, 67%. And when they're on the road, they have cashed 71% of the time. 3 division teams have double revenge this week from last season. Pittsburgh against Cincinnati, New England against Miami, and Houston against Indiana. And how about this? Since 2000, only 4 previous times have division teams played game number 1 where a team lost both times as a favorite. Last year, the Patriots lost as a favorite to Miami at home. Last year, the Patriots lost as a favorite to Miami on the road. Those teams, it's only happened 4 times. They've gone a perfect 4-0 against the spread. Let's see if the Patriots can make it a clean 5-0 sweep.
Interesting. That may be just enough to talk me off betting Miami there, Ralph. Long list. I think this week I'm going to go with a ton of teasers, which we'll get to after this segment. But I know you've got some more TNA first.
I do. I looked at NFL Week 1 home teams that have a home team on deck. You got a nice start to the schedule. You're not traveling Week 1. You're at home prepping for week number 2. Guess what? In game number 1, if you are also home game number 2, you have cashed 27% of the time. Is there a reason? I don't know. Maybe you're complacent. Maybe you think, boy, we can start this season 2-0. But they are 9, 24, and 3, 27.3% against the spread. Those are teams at home, game number 1, that are also scheduled to play at home, game number 2. That fits the Rams against the Bills, the Lions against the Eagles, and the Cowboys against the Bucks. 2 more for you, Kelly. Early season away favorites of 3.5 or more. Since 2017, this doesn't apply to a side. This applies to a total. In the last 5 years, when a team games 1 through 5 is an away favorite of 3.5 or more, they have gone under 63% of the time. 36 overs, 62 unders, and 4 pushes. So that's under 100 games of sample size. There are a slew of teams that are away favored of over 3.5. New Orleans, San Fran, Philly, Baltimore, KC, Denver, and Indy. If any of those games are in your mix, remember a 63% lean to the under with that system. And finally, how about high totals? Totals of 49.5. I went back the last 22 years, all the way since 2000. In games number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the season, the first 5 games of the NFL season, when there's a total of 49.5, they have gone over 61.1% of the time. Now, you might say 60% isn't great, but the record 217, 138, and 12. So when you have 360 plus plays of a system that have hit 60%, it's something you certainly want to look at. Buffalo, KC, Arizona, KC, Las Vegas and the Chargers, Tampa Bay and Dallas. Now, some of those conflict with the over and the under, so throw those out automatically. Just FYI, when you look at the rest of the year, game 6 on through the end of the regular season, those over-unders are 50.8%, basically break even. So that 61.1% mark surely does stick out.
Always good stuff from my favorite guy, Ralph. Bring in the heat, week 1 NFL season. Again, make sure you guys are following him at CalSportsLV on Twitter. And as I already mentioned, teasers are going to be my biggest plays this week, so we might as well get into it. Let's bring back in the guys. I'm not sure I remember a time where there was this many teaser options for week 1. We already went over 2 of them. Not to mention you've got the Vikings. You now have the Jaguars, the Browns, and that's all I've got on this list. Marco, please let everybody know how we're going to bet teasers on this show, because I do think it's very important that we also educate some new people to the marketplace. Tell them about the wrong teasers and who is your teaser for week 1.
All right, Kelly, very simple, because we do have a lot of new viewers. The teaser, what you're trying to do, and it's one of the best bets, I think, in the NFL, and books cringe with advantage players when they come in with it. You're looking to take a dog through the key numbers. What are the key numbers? 3, 4, 6, and 7. So anytime you have a 1.5, 2.5 point dog, and you add a traditional 6 points to it on a 2-team 6-point teaser, you're getting that team over the touchdown. You're plus 7.5, 8, or 8.5. That's what you're trying to do. Same way in reverse. If you have a favorite of 7.5, 8, or 8.5, you can bring it back down the other way and get them under the field goal and go through those key numbers. Now, public service announcement. For the love of God, don't ever tease a small favorite and make them a small dog, okay? Because I'll have to find you and slap your wrist for doing so. There's no value in turning that around. You're giving up a number. You're losing one of the numbers you're going through because you're crossing through 0. So that's the public service announcement for teasers. And if you want more information on Betting 101, another time for a shameless plug, download the WagerTalk TV app. You can get all of our videos that we do in one easy place to watch whenever you want. And if you want to go into our archives, you can see all of our Betting 101 videos when we talk about things like this. Now, let's get to today's teaser. This is the perfect teaser. We're going to tease Cleveland up, and we're going to tease Minnesota up. The only other thing I failed to mention is whenever you are looking at these teasers, the lower the over-under is, the better the teaser is when you're teasing the dog up, because points are at a premium, and this is a low total in the Cleveland game. So getting over that touchdown is what you want to do, and the same thing in the Vikings, although the Vikings game has a little bit higher of a total where there's less or more variance, and you got to be a little careful, is if you ever get one of these NFL games where we're putting up a 53.5 to 56, that gets a little dicey with the long teasers. But if you're going through the touchdown, it's still there.
Good stuff, Marco. Again, keep an eye on those totals. I know that there's a few of them that I gave out that are kind of in that range, but the idea is to get some points at a premium. Joe, Marco and I went with 2 dogs for our teasers. Are you going the same way, or are you looking at teasing down a couple of favorites?
Well, I sort of agree with Marco. Can I sort of agree with him? I do like half of the angle that he's looking at, although I am going to tease, and I know, listen, rule of thumb is we want to usually count on especially home dogs, and we've got a few of those that we mentioned already, Dallas, the Rams, to think of a few that are in prime teaser opportunities to go through 3 and 7. However, you throw that out the window when you're talking about a team playing the Chicago Bears, because the Bears are hot trash this year. They're going to be hot trash here. Now, the good news for Bears fans is that by the time they get everything off the books at the end of this year, you're going to have close to $100 million in cap room. You're going to be able to spend next year. For this year, you got to just hope you don't get Justin Fields killed. So 6.5, 7, that's where this number has been for the 49ers at Soldier Field to open up. Kyle Shanahan, there is really, what else can you say? The Shanahan tree, they do pretty well, especially with less than known quarterbacks, shall we say, to start the year off. Shanahan gave up the farm to get Trey Lance. He's got him. He's been thinking about it all off season, how to put this kid in a position to be successful. And he's going to do it against pretty much a shell of a defense of what they once were there, that being the Chicago Bears. I think the 49ers defense, which nobody wants to seem to remember, that's one of the best fronts in the NFL. And I think poor Justin Fields, and he got a lot of practice at this last year, so I think he's going to be good running for his life, because that's what he's going to be doing in this game. I think Trey Lance shows up. I think he shows out. I think points are going to be extremely hard to come by for the Chicago Bears, so I've got no problem teasing them down to either 1 or a half a point, 6.5 or 7, down to 1. And I in full agreement with the Minnesota Vikings going up against the new look Green Bay Packers as the other side of the teaser. So Minnesota up and the 49ers down with my teaser.
We'll talk a little bit more about Minnesota to end the show, but first we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, maybe we have a new segment for you. The deli's probably not open, but we definitely have some barking dogs.
Ready to take your favorite WagerTalk handicappers wherever you travel this football season? The WagerTalk TV app is now live for phones, tablets, smart TVs, and streaming platforms. Tune into your favorite shows like WagerTalk Today, Bet On It, and the Opening Line Report. Plus, browse through our extensive library of sports betting tips. Create your personal playlist of betting tip videos to help you prepare for the upcoming season, and set notifications to alert you when new content is added. Download the app for Apple, Android, Amazon, and Roku devices by searching for WagerTalk TV, or scan the QR code on your screen to join the winning conversation today.
Welcome back to Bet On It. It's now Marco D'Angelo's time to shine, even though the deli is not open because it's week 1. Marco, who is the trap game for this week in the NFL?
All right, Kelly, first week we got to find something that doesn't smell right. What is that smell? It smells like 3-day-old fish. And that is this line on the Tennessee-New York Giants game. When you look at this one, and I looked at the line when it was sitting at 6, I go, wow, Tennessee, they had what were they, number 1 seed last year? They're laying less than a touchdown at home against the Giants. When was the last time the Giants were relevant in the NFL? It's been a while, guys, and it's under a touchdown. So my knee-jerk reaction would be, okay, Tennessee looks good. But yet we saw the line go the other way. We saw an early move from 6 to 5.5. I can tell you it's not John Q. Public betting the Giants early in the week. That is sharp money coming in on the Giants. So I dug a little deeper. Yeah, I'm not high on the Giants and Daniel Jones, not a fan, but I'm less of a fan of Ryan Tannehill laying points. Tennessee had a remarkable year last year until they lost in the first round of the playoffs. What's new? I don't like this team laying the points. I'm going to look to the Giants here to be able to stay with Tennessee. And even though it's the home opener, do you think Tennessee might just be peeking ahead to next week and look past the lowly Giants? Because they got Buffalo up on deck. That's going to be a big game in Buffalo, which could determine home field advantage in the playoffs early on. That's a big game for them to get the win for a tiebreaker. I'm going to take the Giants. I am going to hope that they are able to stay within the number, which I think they will. I don't see Tennessee getting separation here. And as I said, when you look at it, this line, knee-jerk reaction, they're begging you to take the Tennessee Titans. And we know there's no such thing as a free lunch in Vegas. We'll go ahead, take the Giants plus the points, and that is my trap game. And we'll even do a little sprinkle on them to win outright.
Oh, Marco, Tennessee is going to be a very popular survivor pick this week, and rightfully so. Who wants any part of this disgusting Giants line? I know a couple of guys that are going to be really happy that you agree with them on the Giants. Joe, we have a new segment for you for the NFL show. If you missed his fade Joe Public in the college football show, head over to our WagerTalk YouTube channel and check that out. We decided the NFL show was lacking a little something.
Yeah, it was, and it's a game in which we can focus on just the totals. So what we've got here, Cal, in honor of, Johnny Detroit and a few others that we work at, the name of the segment is, Are You High? And the answer is not high enough, guys, when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Detroit Lions. Now, in a big shout out, of course, to VR, he used to talk about his Steam game. I can tell you right now, this is the one total that got steamed almost immediately. 46.5 all the way up to 48.5 right now. And I completely agree with the move. In fact, I don't think it's high enough. I really don't. You've got two teams here that just did this about a year or so ago. Both of the teams look a little bit different. But the reality is offensive lines for both Detroit and Philadelphia are going to be the best units on the field. And this is what I love about looking at totals, Cal, in these types of situations. I've got two coaches who never met a fourth down they didn't like going for. There will be no punting in this game. They will be going for it every chance. They'll onside kick. And I can tell you right now, if the Eagles get up and start to pull away, it doesn't matter. If we learned anything about Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions is they're coming for you. They are never going to stop coming for you. The aggressiveness, the play calling aggressiveness, both defense and offense, I think there's going to be a ton of points in this game. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be one of the more entertaining games of the weekend. But get ready while the defense, both defenses, especially the Eagles, have some really nice pieces and are expected to be really, really good this year. I think it's the offenses that are going to get showcased in this game. And if we have under 3.5 total punts in this game for a team, I'd be shocked. Give me the over 48.5 on those of you that were able to get it a little earlier and get a better number. But I still think we're going to be looking at 50 or more points in this one, Kel.
New segment I'm not going to be able to ever say with a straight face. Joe, I'm going to kick it right back to you because now it's time for my actual favorite segment. That's right. Time for some barking dogs.
Woof. You got to play the thing, Dan. You got there. There we go. There you go.
Come on.
That's all right. You're going to me. It's all right. You'll get it, Dan. Don't worry about it. The reality is, woof, it is barking.
Please not edit this back out. I don't want to edit this back out. I want to leave all of this trash talk so people know what kind of place it is to work at WagerTalk. All we do is talk shit 24/7. And we have a great time doing it, guys.
That's right.
Sorry, Joe. I'm going to tee that one up again just for our producer, Dan.
Go ahead.
Dan, I'm going to Joe first. I know I didn't follow the script. What else is new? Joe, barking dogs, NFL Week 1.
Yes.
Marco thinks the Giants are barking.
Yeah. Boy, you stupid son of... Okay, so here's what we're going to do here. We are going to go, we're going to bark, and we are going to go, and I can't believe it because... Marco and I had a little bit of a steak dinner bet in the college show. If you guys haven't checked it out, him and I are on opposite sides of one game this weekend. So definitely head over there. One of us is going to be eating steak, and I love a good porterhouse. I'll just leave it at that. But if he doesn't give me some love for picking this dog, I don't know, Marco. It's going to be one long-ass season. Here's what I know. Super Bowl losers, right? A disastrous 4-18 against the number in their following game the next season there. That means the Cincinnati Bengals laying what, 6.5 at this point? Yeah, I ain't buying it, Bengals. You know what I am buying? The captain. That's right. Mitch Trubisky, that's what I am buying. I am buying the Steelers to get it done and get it done right. And we all know, let's be realistic, conference games, right, divisional games rather, do these two teams know each other? You're damn right. Does Mike Tomlin know this team? Yes, he does. Has Mike Tomlin in games like this been absolute money over the years? And I know somewhere in this side over here, Marco is shaking his head and saying, yes, yeah, Tomlin is cash as a dog in this spot. And you know what? I don't see any reason to think that they're not going to continue to be money. I think there is just the hype around Cincinnati is still tremendous, but I'm not buying it, guys, and I'm certainly not buying it early in the season. I think the Steelers are undervalued. Yes, they're in a road divisional game as an underdog. I get that, but I got an undervalued team going up against a overvalued team in the Bengals, in which I am going to back the undervalued dog every chance I get. So I don't think it's a shock. I'll take the points, but you bet your ass, Cal, I'll sprinkle a little something on that money line for the Steelers and the captain, Mitch Trubisky, to get it done. All right, give me the Steelers this weekend.
I like the Steelers too this week, Joe. Again, I've got to stay disciplined because this is like one of those weeks things can get really out of control. I like a lot of dogs. And Marco D'Angelo, I know you probably in your heart of hearts agree with him somewhere, but give me a dog that does not have to go on the road in a hostile environment, two teams that hate each other. Give me a nice, easy, maybe just like an easy field goal dog, not almost a touchdown. That was a little tough, Joe. I agree with you, but man, that's absolutely terrifying. And you, Marco, brought up the Titans. I said for survivor pools, I bet a ton of people play the Bengals this week, and that makes me even more nauseous than the Titans play.
Oh, remember last year, week 1, the Steelers went in and beat Buffalo. Okay, that took a lot of people out on week 1 as well. And Kelly, I'm a little bit disappointed here. You didn't make our new guy, do a tradition that you made me do all the time with barking
you're the
dogs.
only one that would ever do it, though. That's just because you're a Scorpio and you're a glutton for punishment.
Yeah, well, it's hazing time. Make Joe, you have to bark. You have to bark like a dog for this segment first time. So let's hear your bark.
All right, you ready? All right, give me a club. Woof, woof, woof. Come on, Marco, give me that dog, man. First of all, agree with me and my Steelers dog, because in your heart of hearts, you'd be rooting that way as well. But go ahead. Woof. Oh, your turn, Mark. Pete Suey.
You sound like Coco over there snoring on the other side of my office.
Yeah, I'm with you, Joe. I do like the Steelers in that game. I hope they get the outright win, but it's going to be tough going into Cincinnati. Cincinnati did have their number in both games last year, so Tomlin is playing with double revenge. We'll see what happens. And as much as I ridiculed Mitch Trubisky when he was at Chicago, I think he's actually going to be okay in Pittsburgh, and we'll see what happens. Let's be honest. This is the most offensive talent Mitch Trubisky has ever had around him on the NFL level. So let's see what happens. All right, and let's go to mine. And guys, I got another one that you're probably going to want to hold your nose on, but this is one of those ones where it was a coin flip for me. I could have put this one in the trap game and the other one in the barking dog. Either way, they were interchangeable. But look at this Jacksonville Jaguars team. They're on the road. They were pitiful last year, and the line was 3. Basically, you're looking at taking Washington and just pick the winner. Well, we saw some early money come in this week, and this line moved off the 3 to 2.5. Do you know how much money it takes to move a game off of 3 to 2.5? We're talking significant money, and we're talking the right people making those wagers. It's not John Q. Public running to bet Jacksonville. I know a lot of sharps that are holding tickets on Jacksonville over their season win total. Everybody's expecting a big improvement with Trevor Lawrence. He's got a quarterback coach now. And remember, Peterson was able to turn Carson Wentz and Nick Foles into Super Bowl quarterbacks. He's going to improve Trevor Lawrence. And let's face it, Urban Meyer, that was an absolute shit show last year. They have nowhere to go but up, and it starts on Sunday with this Washington team. I almost called them by their old name, but I just don't like the Commanders, so we'll just call them Washington. Here's a spot you look at. I just mentioned Carson Wentz. I'm not a big fan of his, you know that. And he cost Indianapolis going to the playoffs last year, not by losing to Jacksonville in the final game of the season. It was the 3 big games where he had just crucial bonehead interceptions at crucial times deep in his own territory that gave games away. I don't trust him as the quarterback. I really was puzzled by Washington signing him. They got to see him twice a year when he was at Philadelphia. I don't know what they saw that impressed them. And let's just look at Washington, their defense. They were supposed to have a good defense with Chase Young. That defense was horrible last year, and they really didn't do anything in the offseason to improve it. I'm taking Jacksonville. They are my barking dog. They are also a team that is going to be on a lot of teasers, so you get a little bonus there as well, teasing them to 8.5. Why? Because we go through all those key numbers. Also, why? Because it's a low total of 44. Points are going to be at a premium. Jacksonville outright. Jacksonville on the teaser, and Jacksonville with the spread. You got 3 plays in one. Jacksonville Jaguars.
Boom! Boom. I love it, Marco. I am with you on that one, at least in regards to the teasers. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, it's time for Prop Shop with Ariel Epstein and Andy Lang.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
Welcome back to Bet On It. It is time for a new segment. That's right. We're back with Andy Lang and Ariel Epstein for Prop Shop. Andy, welcome in. I know you've got something before we get started that you would like to share with our audience, something you found and has worked really well for you over the last few NFL seasons.
Yeah, I wanted to share this strategy before the season officially starts. Actually, myself and mid-major Matt found this to be really profitable, and I tracked this over the last year. It's called the first quarter unders betting strategy. So the theory behind this is you find teams that fit a certain criteria, and you can just take them in their games to go under their first quarter totals. So here are some things that we're looking for in teams. We're looking for a team with a much higher ranked defense than most. We're looking for a team with a lower tier offense. We would prefer that the team on offense likes to run the ball, and we would prefer to grab a team with good secondary. So we try and narrow down teams that fit all that criteria. And then we're looking for a first quarter total that is at least 7 or higher. That way it takes a touchdown and another score to go over this total. So here's a couple teams that fit this bill last year, and the results are pretty staggering. So the Pittsburgh Steelers struggled on offense, but their secondary was good. They limited teams through the air. They went 12-5-1 if you would have just played them every game for their first quarter under. The New York Giants were another team, really struggled on offense, but they were able to slow teams down good enough to get these first quarter unders to hit. They went 12-4-1 if you would have just played all their first quarter unders. That is a combined record of 24-9-2. That is a winning percentage around 70% if you would have just played these two teams. So I've done the research, and one team I will give out here that you should look at your first quarter unders is the Green Bay Packers. They have an elite secondary, so they're probably not going to give up a lot of big plays. We know they don't have Devontae Adams and MVS. This week, Alan Lazard looks like he might be out. So we're looking at a team that runs the ball a lot with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. This is a team that I'm going to follow and probably play most of the year on their first quarter under. It's a unique strategy, but it was very profitable. It was one of my most profitable betting strategies last year in the NFL season. So just wanted to share that with everyone.
All right, and you guys can follow Andy at Bump Sports on Twitter. And if you're not already following the prop queen herself at Ariel Epstein, you're definitely missing out. Ariel, it is week 1, the week we've been all waiting for. Well, maybe not. Maybe that was last week for college football. But that being said, the refs are back, as our good friend John Murray likes to call it. And how are you going to approach betting this prop market for week number 1?
For betting week number 1 in the props market, I look to last year's numbers. The top 10 teams, bottom 10 teams when it comes to their defensive statistics. Especially I love the bottom 10 because even though everyone talks about unders and that being the sharp play, it really is all about timing in the NFL. You want to bet an under, go bet it later in the week when the numbers get juiced up by the public. You want to bet the overs, then try to get them early. A lot of props are already out around some books, so you can take a look. I look to the teams that defensively struggled last year against the run, then against the pass. I like to see if those teams did not get any better, they didn't really add anybody to help them out with whatever they struggled with, then I make sure to go bet against them again. For example, the Pittsburgh Steelers were the worst run defense in football last year. Go attack a running back in Cincinnati, Joe Mixon, this coming weekend. The Steelers really didn't do much to help their defense and blocking those holes up the middle for Mixon, who destroyed the Steelers last year. He rushed for 90 and 165 yards last season in both games against the Steelers. Go attack those bad defenses, especially early in the year. I stopped utilizing the 2021 numbers by around week 3 when we have a better idea of what the teams look like. Weeks 1 and 2, definitely still using 2021 though, Cal.
Okay, good stuff. All right, Andy. I know you sent me about 5 bets. I said, I need one best bet. Andy said, I've got a whole bunch on my radar. So fire away, Andy, and finish up with your best bet.
Oh man, you're gonna love my best bet because it involves your New Orleans Saints. Let's do 3 bets that I didn't quite get to the window on, but I think they're worth monitoring. Baker Mayfield over 8.5 rushing yards. He went over this total in 7 out of 14 games he played in. 2 of those games he went under. He landed exactly on 8 yards, and he was really banged up. He's healthy, and I love this motivation spot. He's been running his mouth about playing his old team. I think he's going to tuck the ball and run on a couple of broken plays. Didn't quite get there, but that's one I'm going to keep my eye on. Daniel Jones, under 230.5 passing yards. We're fading the New York Giants offense. This depth chart is incredible. Kenny Golladay, the corpse of Kenny Golladay is their number 1. Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, they're all questionable and hurt. They're going to load the box and do whatever they can to stop Saquon Barkley. I'm out on the Giants offense, so I'm looking to take the under there. And Ezekiel Elliott, under 44.5 rushing yards. They're playing a very healthy Tampa Bay Buccaneers front 7. Last year, first game of the season, he rushed 11 times for 33 yards. His offensive line is worse now than it was when they played them last year. I think the best way to attack Tampa is on the outside. I think it sets up for a decent Tony Pollard game. I think Zeke gets a few carries up the middle just to soften the defense and keep him honest, but I'm going under on Zeke. But Kelly, my best bet, we have got to look at the New Orleans Saints on Alvin Kamara, over 61.5 rushing yards. 2 games against Falcons, he rushed 43 times for 109 yards. In both games, the Saints split between Trevor Siemian and Taysom Hill. The Jameis is just steady, and he's going to be the quarterback for the entire game. Pro Football Focus has the Falcons' defensive line ranked DFL, the worst, coming into this year. Teams ran on Atlanta 412 times last year. That was 8th worst in the NFL. They gave up 1,719 yards rushing last year. That is 10th worst. Early in the season, I think the books are a little tentative on some of these numbers. This one seems soft to me. His backup is Mark Ingram, who will get some carries, but Kamara should get the lion's share. It's a soft defensive line. Jameis Winston isn't going to throw a lot, so he doesn't make any of those mistakes. Look for a big game for Kamara. Give me the over 61.5 rushing yards.
My New Orleans Saints. I love that one from Andy. That is going to be the running joke all football season. Ariel, tell me a good joke. I know you got a funny one here that's perfect for on air, that's better than Andy's New Orleans Saints.
A joke? You want a joke? The joke is that there's going to have to be some kind of Kelly in Vegas jersey where it's like the Broncos and the Saints just tied down the middle. That's what we have to create for Kelly this year. And here's the thing, and we'll talk about it on Hustle tonight. I need to make sure that whatever happens to the Saints, Kelly sticks to her guns the same way that we give Trig all this crap about Reds plus 1.5. Trig's all over the Giants. So Trig's Giants is like Kelly's Saints. You just got to ride with the team. You've got to love them the whole season.
Ariel already teed it up. She is going to be filling in for Chris Thurston tonight on The Hustle. So before we see her tonight, Ariel, I need your best bet for NFL Week 1.
Best bet NFL Week 1. Keep a very close eye because the number's not out yet. Vikings wide receiver KJ Osborne on his longest receptions prop. Last year against Green Bay, he had 19 and 30 yards for his longest catch against the Packers. At home last season, KJ Osborne was averaging just under 23 yards per longest catch. All eyes are going to be on Vikings receiver Justin Jefferson. I will bet it because him and Jamar Chase are always locks to bet for longest reception props. However, KJ Osborne, if you could get this anywhere between 15.5 to 18.5, go bet the over on KJ Osborne longest reception. Mentioned Justin Jefferson over 25.5 yards for his longest catch. That's a great one too. Last year, he averaged just under 34 yards per longest catch at home. He also had a 56-yard catch in one game against the Packers. Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins, he's going to throw the football. Last year, he threw over 30 times against the Packers in his one game. They're built to throw more this season. Dalvin Cook looked a little bit less like he lost a step last year. Could do the same thing this year. So I would go with more of the passing game. Also, I mentioned before, Cincinnati running back Joe Mixon over 70.5 rushing yards. Pittsburgh had the worst run defense last season in the NFL, in addition to crushing the Steelers last year with 90 and 165 rushing yards, over 70.5 rushing yards for Mixon.
I love to hear that. Both best bets for my two favorite prop, King and Queen, correlate with a couple of bets that I did make this weekend. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we return, it's time for best bets.
Have you ever wanted to create your own handicapping dream team? You can build your own superstar handicapping lineup using our Pick Your Team program at both WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com. Even more exciting, until Monday, September 12th at midnight, you can save 10% off Pick Your Team using coupon code PYT10 when checking out. Dave Koken, Marco D'Angelo, and Ralph Michaels, JM Sports, Joseph D'Amico, and the Rocket Man. The combinations are endless as you can choose up to 5 handicappers. You start saving once you choose any 2 handicappers of your choice, and you can pay as little as under $6 per handicapper. Who will make up your dream lineup? Go to WagerTalk or Sports Memo, click Pick Your Team, and personally hand select your handicapping roster. Don't forget that coupon code PYT will expire on September 12th, so get your 10% discount and put together your personalized dream team today.
Welcome back. It's now time for best bets, and I'm going to start with myself, and I'm going to keep this one short and sweet, and that's because you guys know this whole offseason I've been touting this Minnesota Vikings team, and I just can't help myself. You want to give me plus 1.5 with the home team, with the better offense, with the new offensive-minded coach who actually likes Kirk Cousins against a divisional rival, against Aaron Rodgers and his wide receiver-less core. I hate to do it, but I am very, very high, not only on Justin Jefferson, but Dalvin Cook, and of course, Kirk Cousins this year. So I'm going to take the plus 1.5, and this one's on the move. I think we're going to see it down to 1, if not close to pick 'em probably by the time the show gets to going, but I do think Minnesota will come away with the win. Marco, week 1, NFL, baby. Best bets last year, we crushed it. Time to keep it rolling. What do you got?
Well, I'll tell you what, apparently I need to get something because I'm the only one that's not high on this show. Joe's high, you're very high, Dan's high.
Damn right. That's right.
I got to catch up. But
the best part of that joke is actually thinking that I could be high and do all the things that I need to do to host the show. I cannot even imagine that you would think that, but here we are.
It's called being a professional. That's what it is.
Just ask Johnny Detroit. He can do it all the time.
Well, we've made fun of Johnny way too many times these last 2 shows. We are going to get a very mean text messages. I just know. I can see the group chat now.
Do you see me worried?
No, because your name is not Lawrence Presman. That's why.
Oh, no. Okay. Things were going so well.
I am going to go with the Cleveland Browns.
Woo!
Yes. I am talking the Cleveland Browns, and I'll be honest with you guys. When the minute I saw Baker Mayfield won the starting job at Carolina, and I saw they were playing the Cleveland Browns the first week, my knee-jerk reaction was, oh, man, I'm going to take Baker Mayfield. He's going to get his revenge. And it's an angle I like. I call it bite the hand that fed you. I do it in baseball all the time. First time a pitcher faces his old team or goes back to that stadium, they're pumped up. You want to take them. But the more I looked at this game and looked at the rosters of both teams, Cleveland is the better team. And to be honest with you, they should be the favorite, not Carolina. I like Cleveland to win this game. And because of the number and because of the total, yeah, I am going to be leveraged to the hilt with Cleveland teasers all over the place on Sunday. This is going to be a key game for me. It's going to be on my card. Could be on my card 2 or 3 times because, as I said, I'm taking Cleveland in the game. I'm going to be taking Cleveland on teasers, and we're taking them for my best bet. Yes, Baker wants to win this game, but just because he wants to do it doesn't mean he's going to get it done. I don't think he has enough weapons. And you know what? I think a lot of players on that Cleveland roster, he was their quarterback for how many years? Some of them like him and some of them don't, because the blame was pointed on him of why this team didn't succeed. It always falls on the quarterback. And the Cleveland Browns are a team that's built to make a serious run. Now, we got to get through Jacoby Brissett as the starting quarterback, but he is not going to put you in bad spots. He's not going to have those stupid turnovers. And to be honest with you, I said it about Mitch Trubisky. I'm going to say it with Jacoby Brissett as well. This is the most offensive talent he's had around him at any place that he's played as the starter. I'm going to go ahead and take Cleveland. They got Amari Cooper this year. That is going to open up a lot of things for Cleveland. They got a threat to spread the field. And what's that going to do? Well, they can run the football when everybody's going deep, covering, respecting the pass game. I like Cleveland. Love, love, love the Browns this week.
The Pittsburgh Steelers fan loves the Browns. Wow. You guys heard it here first. Wow. I also like the Browns, at least in a teaser this week. They are, as Marco said, a perfect teaser spot. I've said it 18 times on the show now. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to take the biggest wuss way out the back door and just hide there with my little teaser tickets on Sunday and hope the refs don't do anything detrimental to me. Yes, I have a little bit of issues from college football week 1 I got to work through before we get to Saturday. Joe, your best bet for NFL week 1, and this is your first best bet on the NFL show.
Yes. Okay? Yes.
You got big shoes to fill because we have been crushing best bets the last 2 seasons. I'm just wanting you to know that.
Huge. Yeah, well, don't forget, since I was the guy actually running everything behind the scenes here for the last 2 years, I was counting the money. So I'm well aware of how well you guys did. Trust me, okay? I'm still not going to get over that. But I do want to remember, shout out to good old stat daddy there, Ralph Michaels, because Ralph's post there the other day did not scare Marco or Kelly from the 121-1 in game 1s to start the season for the Cleveland Browns against the number since 1995. That's 121-1, courtesy of Ralph Michaels there at Cal Sports LV. Yeah, those numbers are disgusting, but you know what? Hey, it can be 221-1 as soon as we're done here this weekend, and I'm all for it. All right. So first best bet here, and unfortunately, this line has been moving a lot because I was able to get it at 3, but now it seems to be creeping up. But I'm going to stay close to home, Cal, and I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins here to get it done against the New England Patriots. Now listen, make no mistake about it here. The New England Patriots actually left Foxborough early to come here to South Florida. You know why? Because it's hot as ass. That's why. And they have no idea what they're about. Well, they know what they're about to walk into. You're talking about 93 degrees. It's about 100% humidity. And you know who else knows that that's going to be tough early on in the season? Bill Belichick, which is why he got everybody down here a little bit early. But you know what? It's not going to make a damn bit of difference because since Tom Brady has left the Patriots, they have struggled, New England, especially against the Miami Dolphins. They were swept last year, right? 0-2, certainly against the number. 1-3 straight up against the number in 2 years without Brady at the helm for Belichick. In fact, they don't do all that well in the state of Florida, whether it be Miami or going to Tampa or even Jacksonville. The Patriots have had difficulty here in the warmer weather, and I don't know that that's going to change here. In fact, I'm fairly certain it's not going to change here. Mac Jones, his issues at quarterback have to do with man coverage. He is not great with defensive teams that run man coverage, and nobody ran it more than the Dolphins last year. Now, granted, that was with a former coach, but I think the defensive scheme is there. It's been a deficiency of Mac Jones. I don't think the Dolphins change anything, especially with what they're doing in the secondary. I fully anticipate that Matt Patricia, yes, that's right, Matt Patricia and Joe Judge are not going to be able to help Mac Jones take that next step. I do think Tua I think Hill, I think the running game, yes, and Coach McDaniel, I think they're ready to take the next step, and I think they pull away in this one easily in the second half as those Patriots are sucking wind in 100% humidity and 94 degrees with their sideline, mind you, baking in the sun right around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So let me know how that works out for you, New England. I'm laying it. I don't care. Money line, laid at 3.5. I'm laying it across the board. The Dolphins start a new regime here in South Florida with a win over the New England Patriots.
Joe, I hope you're right. Our good friend CT Betts and I have a little friend bet, not quite like your steak bet with Marco, but very similar. And I have now lost 3 years in a row, taking the over, taking the under against him, taking the over with the New England Patriots. So I would love to see them start off 0-1. And I can confirm I've been to Sun Life Stadium this exact weekend. It just happened to be for a college game, and it is hotter than the surface of the sun.
Brutal.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, it's time for the recap.
Ready to take your favorite WagerTalk handicappers wherever you travel this football season? The WagerTalk TV app is now live for phones, tablets, smart TVs, and streaming platforms. Tune into your favorite shows like WagerTalk Today, Bet on It, and the Opening Line Report. Plus, browse through our extensive library of sports betting tips. Create your personal playlist of betting tip videos to help you prepare for the upcoming season, and set notifications to alert you when new content is added. Download the app for Apple, Android, Amazon, and Roku devices by searching for WagerTalk TV, or scan the QR code on your screen to join the winning conversation today.
Welcome back. I just got a text message from Johnny Detroit himself telling me that if I do not plug the YouTube channel one more time, we are less than 300 people away from hitting that 100,000. So again, thank you to everybody that always jumps in, hits the like button, comments, but do me a favor and make sure you are subscribed so you never miss another Bet on It show. Thursday Night Football, Buffalo in LA. Joe says give him that first half under 25.5. Marco and I are in agreement. We're going to take the Rams in teasers. He also leans Rams plus 2.5. Sunday Night Football, Tampa Bay at Dallas. Marco says give him that under 50.5. And, well, Joe and I are in agreement. We got Dallas in teasers. This is like the teaser show ever. Speaking of teasers, Joe, San Francisco -1. While not traditional, he makes a very good point to bet against the Bears. And Minnesota plus 7.5. Marco, on the other hand, loves Cleveland every which way. He's going to take him in a teaser and add the Vikings to that one. The Are You High segment. Not high enough. Philadelphia, Detroit over 48.5. Marco's Deli maybe will be back next week, but this week the Giants plus 5.5 is the trap game of the week, and I have a feeling that could spoil a lot of survivor pools. Barking Dogs, Pittsburgh, nope, not for Marco. Joe thinks the Steelers can go in and upset Cincinnati. Marco thinks that Jacksonville can get their first win on the road. As far as best bets, I'm on the Vikings. I am locked and loaded on this team this year. Marco says give him Cleveland even with Jacoby Brissett. And Joe says take that team from South Florida to absolutely wreck the New England Patriots on Sunday afternoon. Again, thank you guys each and every week. We appreciate that you're here. Joe, Marco, Ralph, Ariel, Andy, and myself love you guys dearly. Until next week, well, technically we'll see you guys on Monday for Monday Night Football. So until Monday, let's bet on it.